What's going on, guys? So before we get into today's episode, I want to give props to a program that is responsible for helping over 6,000 students level up their careers. That is Level Careers. Level Careers offers 3 course options that are all self-paced and affordable. They have a tech sales closure course which is what you want to hop into if you want to go the account executive role. I myself have taken that course. I've graduated from that course, and I still refer to it today to help me in my account executive role. They also have a cybersecurity course that is jam-packed with hands-on labs, giving you everything you need to hop into a SOC analyst role or information security role. I am currently taking that class right now. I am 50% through the course. I tell you, it is highly recommended. They also have a sales engineering course. For those of you that want to go out there and you want to put your foot in the door as a sales engineer, they have a course for you. All these courses are affordable, and I'm going to help you make it even more affordable by sharing with you my code to give you 10% off of any course you choose. Use Tech Job 10 for any course that you choose. I'll put a link to the program in the description and in the comments. Go get your tech job. Peace. What's going on, guys? It's your girl Tech Job Tina signing in for another episode. On today's episode, man, I'm just going to share with you some content that I came across when I was looking on YouTube. Just trying to really keep, my finger on the pulse of what is happening just in the world, in the market, just everywhere, right? Heard stories where it's taking people 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, some cases a year to find a job. We're seeing the layoffs. We see all of these things that are happening in the market. And so I always take a lot of interest just to see what other people are saying, what they're noticing, like in their markets and so on and so forth. And me personally, I was working during the 2008 recession. I was in the construction materials sector working customer service. I had just moved to Atlanta at that time working in construction materials. And I remember what it felt like during that time. I just remember like leading up to the official downfall. And don't get me wrong, when we have these downturns, the downturn is already in the making before you actually feel it. Like it's already like the first die has been cast. You just haven't officially, hasn't smacked you in the face yet, right? So I think we're definitely at that point where the die has been cast and we just haven't really got that big slap in the face yet, like we did at the end of like that 2007 going into 2008. I just remember what the climate was during that time. I had just moved to Atlanta September 2007. I had transferred my job from my hometown to Atlanta, so I kept the same job. I just remember how, what I was doing was really tied to the home building market because we sold construction materials. We sold to home builders and developers and commercial GCs and things like that. So when things slow down in construction and you're in the industry like I was in, you're going to feel it, right? So I just remember like everything leading up to the downfall, it was like hustle and bustle. I was like, I couldn't get caught up. I'm processing order after order after order. We're like stupid busy, right? And then when the slowdown came, there was like this weirdness in the air. It was almost like the calm before the storm, right? It was really hard to explain what it was. I just remember that all of a sudden things in my office it felt like there was this whispers around the office from like management. There was an increase in behind closed door meetings and all of this, right? And it just eventually led to there being like layoffs, like every other week there would be closed door meetings, and every time the doors would close, the people in the offices would become so nervous because we got to the point where we understood what that meant. When they get behind those closed doors, they're having another meeting to determine who's going to be let go, right? So by the grace of God, I was not laid off during the recession. I actually kept my job the entire time during the recession. I actually bought my first house even during the recession because I was gainfully employed during that time. And that was a blessing. And looking back, I think the only reason why I was able to be gainfully employed during that time is because I made myself available to be wherever my employer needed me to be. I was flexible. Like, okay, you guys have a shortage over here, I'll go over here. You guys need help over here, I'll go over here. I was the person where just tell me what you need, right? So just to give you guys a little bit of a tip, if you want to try to hedge yourself against those layoffs, be helpful, right? Be the person that, hey, wherever you need me to go, I'll go. Like, put me in. I'm your girl, like, or I'm your guy, right? So that definitely helped me maintain my employment during that time. I was just willing to go where I was needed. I was always helpful, and I had the skill set to where I could learn anything, and they knew that, right? So definitely was helpful for me in keeping my job during the recession. But I do remember so many other people around me, not only at the company that I was at the time, but just people that I knew, like friends and family that were just getting obliterated by the recession. I know so many people that lost their entire livelihoods, their businesses, were gone, their houses were gone, cars were repossessed. Like, it was like ugly, right? So I'm just really fortunate that I didn't have to go through any of that at that time. And I say all that to say this: that same calm before the storm, I'm feeling it again, right? It's like once you go through it that one time, it's like when you feel it again, you kind of realize, okay, this is that calm before the storm that we're in right now. Some people are already in the midst of a storm because so many people have lost their jobs and they're losing their, cars and houses, and it is happening, right? So regardless of what you see in the news, you'll see things in the media. Some people will try to mislead you into thinking, oh, this is a great economy. Unemployment is only single digits. It's under 4%. And it's like, even with that, it's like, okay, guys, come on. You're not going to try to okadoke me, because if you are someone that is educated, and when it comes to things like employment rates and how those things are calculated, then you know that the unemployment rate, the one that they put out there, is a total lie. And why it is a lie? Because the unemployment rate doesn't even include the full picture. They put these low numbers out there because it looks good in the media and it paints a beautiful story for them. And it makes the politicians look like they're doing their job when really they're not, right? So you go out there right now, you might see a single digit unemployment number. It may even be in the low threes or fours, but understand what is not included in unemployment. And a lot of people don't realize this. They do not include people who have been unemployed for months in that number, right? If you've been unemployed more than a month, you're not even included in that number as an unemployed person, right? Or if you are underemployed, maybe you're employed because you just had to take a job that you can get, right? So those things are not even factored into that number. So a lot of times whenever I see a number that's low, especially when everything around you tells a different story than what that number says, I always say, okay, we're probably at least 4 or 5 times worse than the number they're putting out there, right? So that's my rule of thumb. Whenever people, put statistics in the media, we're probably 4 or 5 times worse than what they're telling you, right? So the content that I kind of found today was kind of speaking to that, and it was kind of talking about why it is so hard right now to find a job. The whole video, I think it was about almost 30 minutes. So I'll play it and I'll give a little bit of commentary as we go through it, and I'll put the link to the full video in the description. So let's crank it up right now.
There are 9 million job openings right now, and politicians keep saying the economy is doing great. But then why does it feel impossible to get a job? In this video, I'll share 4 reasons why finding a job is so hard right now, and I'll even reveal my personal 5-step strategy that recently helped 3 of my friends land their jobs. First, there's misleading data to think about. Politicians love to point to the record low unemployment rate of 3.7%, but that metric is kind of wrong. Just because the unemployment rate is 3.7% doesn't mean 96.3% of people are employed. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, or the BLS, only counts people as unemployed if and only if they meet this weird criteria. You must be currently available to work, and you must have looked for a job in the last 4 weeks. Meaning, if you spend months job hunting without any success and you feel discouraged and decide to take a few weeks off from spamming job boards, you won't be counted towards the unemployment rate anymore. The problem is, if you have a lot of people who just give up looking for a job because they're discouraged, have family obligations, or any other reasons, the unemployment rate is gonna seem pretty low. The metric is also missing a lot of people. It doesn't include nearly 40% of the US population, those with disabilities, students, retirees, active duty military, or even stay-at-home caregivers. I didn't realize how bad everything was until the other week. I was talking to my neighbor and he told me he was a QA engineer. And about a year ago, he moved into this new apartment, he got new furniture, and he finally thought he had his life together. But then recently he got laid off and he was telling me how frustrating and annoying it is when he constantly hear about the news talking about how great the labor market is. But at the same time, he's burning through his savings and he's been submitting hundreds of job applications with no response. He had no idea what was going on. And while I was doing research for this video, I finally figured out why he's not hearing back. A 2023 survey found that many employers are actively posting job opportunities without any intention to hire or even respond to applicants. Companies call this ghost job postings. Basically, it's a strategy certain companies use to collect some very interesting data. Take Fractal, for example, a digital marketing agency. In 2023, Kelsey Lippert, Fractal's co-founder, openly admitted that they kept ads up for associate positions even when they weren't hiring, because turnover for that role is high. Basically, companies try to build a pipeline of potential candidates for the future. Although they don't have any interest in hiring someone now, they want to have your information on file so they can hit you up when they need to fill a vacant spot, which might explain why so many people are getting ghosted. But there is another reason companies do ghost job postings, and it's a lot worse than building a candidate pipeline. When it comes to most job applications, chances are it'll ask you to list out your qualifications, salary expectations, previous employers, and their salaries. Although you've never intended to, you're basically giving these companies free insider information about their industry. Now they can see what their competitors are paying and gauge how many people are looking for a specific role. Based on this, they can make major decisions, like what's the lowest salary they can offer to hire someone, and how difficult would it be to get a replacement if they have to fire a current employee. And the
I'm gonna pause right there for a minute. Isn't that, I mean, I'm gonna keep it a book. That's shitty, right? That you have companies out here that are taking advantage of the fact that people are in need of jobs and they're using you for data, right? They're just using you for their research. They're putting all these ghost jobs out here, knowing damn well they're not hiring, knowing damn well that hundreds, 200, 300, 400, 500 people gonna just run in there and fill out applications, giving them all the data they need for their research, right? Now, you got some companies out there that are really good about letting you know, look, we're just, adding to our candidate pipeline. That's why I tell people, make sure you do a really good job of reading the job descriptions, because, you got some companies out there that'll say in the job description that they're just adding to their candidate pipeline. You also have some verbiage that sometimes you'll see in a job description. One of the ones that we use is the term evergreen. If you're ever applying for the job and you see the term evergreen by that title, that means they are just adding to the candidate pipeline and they're not actually hiring. So if you're lucky and it's a decent company, they'll tell you, they'll be upfront about it. We're not actually hiring. This is not really a role. We're not going to be calling you or whatever, right? Okay, great. Okay, fine. I'm okay with it if you let me know. But I think it's shitty the companies that put those roles out there and make it look like they're really hiring when they're really not. So you got to really be on the lookout for that. I know that a lot of people have been bringing that up lately. It's like you'll see a role out there and sometimes it gets like relisted and relisted and relisted, and you're like, well, the first time they got listed they had like 500 applicants. They couldn't find nobody in that first 500 batch, that they had to put the role back out there again. Those types of things, when it happens, that's when it becomes fishy, right? So I'm not saying that there's not like legit roles out there, because yeah, even in the midst of everything that's going on, there's still lots of opportunity out there. You just really gotta really pay attention, like I said, to those job descriptions, and just really look for the signs that tell you that they're really not hiring, right? So it's just another thing, just making things more difficult than it has to be. um just another thing you just got to worry about, right? All right, so let's get back into it.
amount of ghost job postings are only getting worse. While they have always existed, a 2024 study found that mentions of ghosting are up 77% since February 2020. The problem is these job postings create a false sense of hope. People like my neighbor are out here spending hours every day applying to job listings, crossing their fingers, oblivious to the fact that some companies have no intention to respond. Next, there just might not be enough job opportunities. Although help wanted signs are littered across the US, many of them are hung outside of bars, restaurants, and gas stations. The problem is, these jobs might not feel worth it to some job seekers. Chances are these opportunities pay pretty poorly, they have unpredictable schedules, offer little to no benefits, or any job stability. A study found that 41% of job seekers thought there weren't enough job openings in their preferred industry. And even if they can find one, chances are companies are lowballing salary offers. 46% of job seekers said they could only find low-paying jobs, and a big reason for this is because of leverage. Employers know there are more people looking for a job than there are jobs available, meaning they can offer a lower salary. Although some may call these job seekers ungrateful and say they should just take what they can get, in an economy where the costs of things like food, rent, and pineapple pizza are at an all-time high, taking on a low-paying job could be a net negative. In economics, this can be explained by opportunity cost. Basically, the time you spend doing something is the time not spent doing something else. From Monday to Friday, you might be spending 50 hours washing dishes, stocking shelves, or serving food to get paid a wage that barely covers your basic expenses. But what if instead you spent those 50 hours a week to continue looking for a job that actually matches your skill sets and salary expectations? The more time you spend looking, the higher your chances of getting one that fits what you're looking for. Next, the recruiting process is completely broken. Chances are you've used job platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter. They make applying to opportunities fast. You fill out a template, attach your resume, and spam apply. The problem is, if you can spam hundreds of job applications a day, so can everyone else, which makes it impossible for recruiters to scan through everything. As a result, companies have turned to AI tools to sift through the flood of resumes. A 2023 study found that up to 75% of resumes are rejected by these tools before they even reach a real person. The problem is, studies show that both unqualified and qualified candidates get filtered out by these tools. Companies know this happens too, but they don't really care because it's way more cost-effective to use these tools than not. But even if you're the lucky few whose application doesn't get eliminated by a judgmental and rude AI, it might not even matter. Elliot Garlock, the founder of Stella Talent Partners, a recruiting firm, admits that even before a company advertises a job opening, they might already have a pre-selected candidate for the position. But how do they already know who they're going to hire before posting the job? The truth is, even if you were groomed from birth to be in that role and you pass the AI filtering tools and you're objectively the perfect fit for the job, there's one other factor that matters even more. Do you know someone at the company? A 2014 study found that referrals account for between 30 and 50% of hires, and a referral who gets an interview has a 40% better chance of getting hired than other candidates. The problem is, when good jobs are constantly being filled by referrals, it means it's the same kind of people who keep getting these opportunities. People who went to the same schools, parts of the same social circle, or from a specific background. It becomes a closed network that makes it really hard for the average person without these connections to break in.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it right there, right quick, because what he touched on, and basically it was a point I was gonna bring up in this video: the importance of your network, right? What we're navigating right now in this job market, it is like very important that you have a network that you can tap into, right? So that you can tap into the opportunity of getting that referral, right? Those referrals are going to be what sets you apart from the person that's just blindly applying for that job and doesn't know anybody at that job, right? And yeah, you might say it's unfair, but whatever, call it what you want. It is what it is, right? So it's up to us to strengthen our networks, make sure that we actually have quality people that we can tap into when we're trying to, break into a company over here or break into a company over there. Just really be diligent about building your network. You can never have too many people in your network, right? And I can't stress this enough. A lot of times we break into a role, we maybe break into tech and get that first tech role. And the first thing we do is we start to settle into that role and we stop networking. We stop building our network. We just let our LinkedIn go stale. I'm telling you, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot by doing that. Never take your foot off the gas when it comes to building your network, because you never know, right? So to his point, it may be one of those things where you're, all these little cliquish, communities are giving each other jobs, but that's always been the case, right? It has always been a who you know. I mean, and it is always going to be that way, right? So you might as well just accept the fact that a lot of the time is going to be about who you know. So what you need to do is you need to get to know some more people. Okay, so let's get back into it.
But here's the good news. I created a 5-step job launch process that 3 of my friends recently used to land their jobs, and I'm gonna break it down for you step by step. But first, if you've been primarily applying to jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter by just submitting an application, then you need to stop. The truth is, this is the least effective way to apply anywhere. My personal 5-step process. Step 1, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile yet, get one. Upload your picture, put your work and school history, your hobbies. You want to fill in as much as you can. Step 2, add everyone you have even the slightest connection with. If you said hi once in high school or you saw them dancing at a party 5 years ago. Most people on LinkedIn accept every invite they receive, so don't worry about it. Step 3, look for jobs you're interested in on any job portal like you normally would, like on LinkedIn. Let's say I found a role with Uber. I'll then go on Uber's career page and confirm that job opportunity is still available. Chances are a company's website has more up-to-date information than these third-party job portals. Then go back to LinkedIn and search for the company. In this case, I'm searching for Uber. Then LinkedIn will let you know if you know anyone that works there. If you do, great, you have your targets, and I'll tell you what to do with them later. If you don't have any direct connections or you just don't like those people, then click on the company page. Go on the People's tab and scroll down to the people you may know. These are people with some sort of mutual connections with you. Maybe you both know a mutual friend or a friend of a friend. These are also your targets, but if you still don't have anyone, don't worry. Go to the filters immediately available and apply some criteria to narrow down the number of people. Basically, you're trying to find people with anything in common. People who went to your college, who studied what you studied, who grew up in your same town, whatever. These filtered people are now your targets. Step 4, start mass adding these targets on LinkedIn. The more the merrier. Once they accept, go full-blown Sherlock Holmes on them and investigate their profiles to find anything else you have in common. Hobbies, skill sets, previous jobs, friend connections, anything. Once you've found something in common, send them a message on LinkedIn. You really don't have to write much, just one sentence telling them why you're messaging them, one sentence introducing yourself, and maybe 1 to 2 sentences about what you have in common. Something like, hey, my name is Vincent, and I'm reaching out because I'm interested in the operations role at Uber. I used to do operations at Mr. Magic Lamp Company. I saw that you also enjoy eating pineapple pizza and playing video games and wanted to reach out to learn more about your experience at Uber. Are you free for a 15-minute call this Friday at 3 p.m.? The objective is to just hop on a short call, learn about them, the role, share your own experiences, and then at the end, probably the most important part, ask if they have any advice they can give you so you have a better chance at getting the job. AKA, you're asking for a referral. When I first started doing this, I honestly was a bit worried about annoying people, but then I learned that if a current employee refers you and you get the job, the referring employee could get a couple $1,000s in referral bonus, and all they had to do was send out an email. And people do like feeling helpful and kind. Think of it this way, you are providing them the opportunity to feel like a good person and a couple $1,000s. They are providing you with a competitive edge for a role you want. It's a win-win. Step 5, and this is crucial, do not submit your job application to the role until after they refer you. If you
All right, so I'm gonna stop this right here because I get stressed enough. I've had people in my DMs like all the time. They'll apply for the job first, then they'll come to me and say and ask me for a referral, like on the back end, or ask me for my advice, or ask me something. And it's like, once you've applied, ain't nothing really I can do. It's like if you want to, work at somebody's company, do what he said. Make sure you get with them first because they may give you a referral, right? Or they may not. You never know, but you don't want to miss your opportunity because you ran out and applied and you could have been applying via a referral, right? Now, my policy for referrals, I don't just hand out referrals blindly. Because first, I don't know you, I don't know your work ethic, and sometimes, it could look bad on me if we hire you and you absolutely suck at your job, right? So for me, it's like if I'm gonna give you a referral, I at least want to have a conversation with you. I want to fill you out, see if you seem like somebody that, yeah, I would be totally okay giving a referral for, right? And also, and I may be different on this, I'm also really funny acting about who I get a referral from. Like if I'm like, for instance, say you're looking for a role, right? And you don't want to just reach out to any old body and get a referral. And the reason why I say that is if I reach out to Joe Blow, maybe he sucks at his job, right? Maybe he sucks so much at his job that me having a referral from Joe Blow holds no weight because nobody likes Joe Blow, right? So I got a referral that's doing me no good because Joe Blow sucks at his job, right? So just something else to consider, right? Definitely look at the LinkedIn pages of people and try to get a feel for if this is someone that you want to message, if this is someone that could be a great referral for you, because not all referrals are created equal. All right. So just kind of wanted to put that out there in case you never really thought about that. Like, okay, I'm getting a referral from Nancy Sue and everybody freaking hates Nancy Sue. So if they hate her, they ain't going to hire me. They ain't going to call me in for an interview because I'll be like, oh, this person was referred by Nancy Sue. We freaking hate her. We're not calling this person, right? So just something to consider. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that definitely has crossed my mind. Okay. All right. So let's get back into it.
Apply for the role before they refer you, they will not get the referral bonus. Then rinse and repeat. Although this will significantly increase your chances of getting a job, the reality is it's still a numbers game.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm just going to stop that right there. Thought that was a cool little video just to give you some more tips and tricks. And at the end of the day, it's all about who you know, right? It's all about having a good network. It's all about doing whatever you can do to help yourself stand apart from the rest, right? So that means if there's 1,000 applications for a true legit role, you got to do what you got to do to stand apart from those 1,000. The good thing that is actually something that is actually on your side, the majority of people don't go above and beyond. I can guarantee you that if there's 1,000 people that apply for a role, only 20% of them are doing more to be seen, right? And I can guarantee you that even out of the top 20%, only 5% of those are going above and beyond to be seen. So if you are the person that is going above and beyond, meaning for instance, you're looking for a tech sales role, you're that person that not only did you reach out for the right people and get the referral, then you applied, then you interview outreach, maybe you cold call some hiring managers, maybe you cold call a VP of sales, maybe you sent out some cold emails, left a voicemail, maybe you did several touches, maybe you sent a Loom video in a vidyard, and you did all these things, right, to get yourself seen. I guarantee you those things alone put you in the top 5% of 1,000 people that are applying for a job. So that's the name of the game, man. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Do what everybody else ain't doing, right? So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy sharing content with you as I run across it. Definitely interested to hear any comments that you have. Drop them in the comments below. And if you have any questions, drop those down there and I will definitely get back to you. I will see you guys in the next video. Tech Job Tina out. Peace and blessings. Bye.